Hi, I'm Lynn Vitalden. I'm the owner of Creative Therapeutics, and we're really excited. We're celebrating our 20-year anniversary in October, and we're going to have a party and invite you all to it. And in the meantime, we're going to introduce our Healthy Habits initiative. So these habits, we're going to introduce a new one every 2 weeks that you are welcome to join us in. We are going to be posting on Facebook, on Instagram, and there'll be a hard copy here at the office you can pick up if you don't do either of those two things. You can also see the Healthy Habit in the newsletter when it comes out. But what we hope to do is build a new healthy habit every 2 weeks, and leading up to that time that we have our party, then by that time we'll all be super healthy and doing some great things to improve just our everyday life. Our first healthy habit is going to be to stretch some lower leg muscles. So we're going to specifically target the quadriceps and the hamstrings. Both these muscles attach both to the pelvis and to the knee. And so they can have a big impact on the low back, the hips, and the knee. So for most of us, those are pretty important parts of our body, and it'll really impact your everyday function and your sport function. The first muscle group we're going to work on is the quadricep group. So I'm going to show you an easy variation, a medium variation, and a difficult variation. And you can pick the one that suits you the best. So the first variation is the easy variation. You should find a chair and a wall to hold on to, and then turn to your side, and then just get your leg up on the chair. So depending on the height of the chair, that will determine how hard the stretch is. But one thing to keep in mind is always with the quad, eventually we want this knee to end up next to the other knee, and we want the pelvis to pull back and under. So that's stretching your quad easy. The second variation is just grabbing onto your ankle and pulling it back. You see a lot of people arching their back. That's going to let the quad off the hook and also let the hip flexor off the hook. So pull your pelvis back, and then pull your knee to be even with the other knee. Now it's not incorrect to go behind unless you arch the back, then it's incorrect. Another variation you see people do is their leg is out to the side. That also lets the quadricep off the hook and you don't get as good a stretch. So keep it next to the other knee, like that. Okay, and then the third variation is the hardest. I'm just barely qualified to do it. But again, you use a chair. Make sure you're a good distance away from the chair. Maybe hold onto a wall for a minute. That's what I'm going to do. And then you just kneel down. So you stretch the quad that way. And then come up. So all these stretches you want to hold for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then you can repeat each side 2 to 3 times. The second muscle we're going to work is the hamstring, or we're going to stretch. And I'm going to show 2 variations for that. So the first one is an easy variation. It does have a couple tricks to it. You sit down in a chair, you straighten out one leg, you sit very tall, and then you pull your toes back, and then put your hands on your hips, and then just lean forward from the hips. So incorrect version would be if you're kind of leaning and stretching toward your toes. So just make sure you're leaning from the hips. That's hamstring version number 1. The second one is on the floor. So I use a strap for this. You don't have to use a strap, but it helps to get the whole back of the leg stretching. So I'm going to just lay down here. And just loop the strap onto the ball of your foot, lay back, and then you just pull the strap down and you reach your heel toward the ceiling. You don't have to pull your foot toward your forehead as much as just reaching the foot to the ceiling. You might notice that this right leg is straight. An easier version is to bend this knee if you find that any part of your back gets uncomfortable with this hamstring stretch. And so you can hold for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. If you need a break, you can just bend the knee and come back up again. So both stretches you can hold from anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute and repeat 2 to 3 times on each leg. Now, along with stretching your lower body, I want to introduce another concept to you, and that is to stop eating when you're 80% full. So you don't have to go hungry, but just eat a slightly smaller portion, or as you're eating your usual portion, just kind of eat slowly and watch how full you're feeling as you eat, and stop when you're 80% full.